Hello. I'm sorry I'm not able to be in attendance this morning, but I thought I would make this short little video presentation to answer one of the questions that was presented, and that is, what measures are the school taking to increase the average IB grade in line with top private schools in the region? And they mentioned that the average grades in Mount Jordan were 34 and 36. And so to start with, some of the things that the school has done recently, we've added new classes to the diploma program. This may not necessarily increase the average point score, but the hope is that yes, if a student is taking a class that they are more interested in, then they would do and perform better in that course. And by adding these additional classes, we're giving our students more choices and more opportunities to pursue something that they are more interested in. Second thing we have been doing the last few years is trying to increase our guidance for the students and their course choices. We as a school try to give our students a chance to excel and push themselves, but at the same time we know we have some students who are taking higher level mathematics when A, it may not be necessary, and B, we know they may not be as successful in higher level mathematics as say standard level. And so we've tried to somewhat increase our guidance in that way and possibly put them into a course that better suits them. However, if a student really wants to pursue higher level mathematics and they've met our criteria, we're not going to stop them from taking that course. And finally, and this is the big change for this coming year, is the fact that we've introduced a new admissions criteria, and that is that a student must have 40 points in their 8 MYP subjects. And this is a new criteria for this year, in addition to our criteria of having a 5 to take a higher level class. And so we won't know quite the effect that this will have, at least not for another 2 years, but potentially yes, by setting the bar a little bit higher, we may increase our point average. But just to somewhat further carry on and to let you know, the numbers from last year to 2015, as you can see from the chart, our scores did improve from 2015 to 2016, and when compared to world averages, are actually quite favorable. And if you were asking me what great changes did we make between 2015 and 2016, I can't say that we did a whole lot. One thing I always struggle with is this comparison of one year to another, because students are students. We're dealing with adolescent children, and one year could be slightly different to the other. Between 2015 and 2016, our teachers, we didn't have an overwhelming change in the teachers or their approach, but it was, I think, quite a bit the attitude of the difference in attitude between the two classes. And then to address this idea of Raha being comparable to other private schools in the region. And when you are making comparisons, and I would hope that you will take this message and share it with your friends and people who you may be talking to, and start comparing school results. Because one question I ask myself is, well, yes, how do these schools get these results, and are they really a comparable school? So American International School here in Abu Dhabi, they offer the diploma program, and when I met their diploma coordinator and we were talking about our results, he said their average is 36, 37 points year on year, and that's an impressive average result. When I asked how does he manage to do that, his reply was quite straightforward. I only admit the best of the best into the diploma program. They only allow about 10% of their students to follow the diploma program. So at Raha, we take a much different approach. 90% of our students are following the diploma program. The other 10% are following the courses. And so is that quite comparable, comparing their top 10% to our 90%? Well, if we look at our 2016 results, and how did our top 10% do? Well, you can see that they were all above 40 points. So if we want to make that comparison, we've actually done quite well. Something else that maybe is something you need to know, and that is in the past, when I have produced these results, these statistics, the point average is for all of our students, diploma students who have passed or who have not passed the diploma. And many schools, when they report their grades to the public, will do something where their average is actually only that of the students who have received their diploma. And it's something, yes, schools do. These numbers that you see here are of all of our students, whether they passed or failed the diploma. If I were to look at just the average of those students who passed, now it's a much different story, especially for the year 2015 and our class of 2016. You can see they've added a whole point to their average, and now we're getting close to 34 points as an average. Which brings me then to other schools in the region, and because the question specifically referred to Amman, Jordan, I looked at a couple of schooling in Amman, Jordan. Amman Baccalaureate is considered, has a reputation for being a very good IB school, receiving very good results. And so again, if we're going to make a comparison between Raha and Amman Baccalaureate, is it going to be a valid comparison? And so in looking at doing a bit of research, the first thing to know is that for Amman, for a student to be admitted into their diploma program, they must achieve 41 points in their MYP scores. And they may have had that rule for quite some time. In addition, to take a higher level subject, they require a level of a 6 in MYP versus our level of a level 5. We know that students can be successful in higher level classes with a level 5. They choose to make that bar much higher at level 6. So there's that first difference. The second, and I think most striking difference between our two schools is Amman has a criteria that at the end of 11th grade, halfway through the program, if a student's not achieving more than 28 points, then they will be dropped from the diploma program. And why make that a criteria? Is obviously a choice their school has made, one that we do not. But obviously, if you want a 100% pass rate, then yes, halfway through the year, or halfway through the program, you remove all the students who are achieving less than 28 points. Even though 25, 26, 27, you can pass, they choose not to take that risk, that maybe that student might drop below the passing mark and leave it at 28. So if we considered that criteria, and I did, I went back and looked at our students' results, and at the end of 11th grade, took out all those students who had 28 or less points, and then found the average at the end of the program, and this is what our point total turns out to be. So if I just look at the students who had 28 or more points at the end of 11th grade and how they fared on their IB results, we are now over 34 points, including the class of 2015, which was, at first glance, not such a strong group. So are we comparable to these other private schools? I would say yes. If you just consider numbers at face value, we may not look so favorable. But if you're truly going to be comparing schools and the results, then my word of caution is to make sure that the schools truly are comparable. And so I would say yes, we are quite comparable and favorably comparable to these other private schools in the region based on what we do in the diploma program and the students we allow to continue and be a diploma student versus other schools. And that's truly just a choice between our school compared to these others. So I hope this quick explanation has answered the question, as well as I hope when you are talking with your friends and things that they are comparing schools, that you throw in this word of caution of, make sure that you are truly comparing equals before you make your final judgment. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your morning.